Hello everyone, welcome to CNA, the daily newspaper analysis. So today we are back with the current affairs news of 19th August 2023 from across the world, as well as from some of the important newspapers which are basically in top demand for every form of APSC or UPSC exams. So let's start with today's analysis. So this is me and my details. If you want to join our WhatsApp as well as Telegram group, you can join in via the link given below. Also, CSAP is starting up with the interview guidance program for the APSC CCE mains appearing candidate. So we'll be led by Anil Swarup, IAS retired, Robin Kolita, IRTS retired, and Amya Kumar Borasar, who is basically a former APSC chairman. Also, we'll have an eminent faculty team as well as director CSAP will also lead the team, where you will provide it with some of the important aspects of the interview guidance. So the free registration will start from 18th August. So please do join and register here for some of the wonderful and to also secure the top ranks in the upcoming interview. Also, we'll be conducting a live interview guidance program in June, which will be on 25th August, timing 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., which will be conducted by Robin Kolda sir, who was a former IRTS. Also, will be coming up on 10th September by Anil Swarup sir. So he is a IAS retired person. So this will also be on the Zoom session. Let's start with today's analysis. KSLF first, retail inflation in India. Second, lymphatic filariasis, 3D printed post office, Katchatheevu Island, extreme weather events in the Himalayas, and some of the prelims facts. Coming to the retail inflation in India. So retail inflation buli kole ami ki buzu? So see, this inflation is tracked by one index which is known by CPI, that is Consumer Price Index. And what does it measures? It measures the changes in prices from a retail buyer's perspective. Retail outlet. I'm not saying about the wholesale outlet. There is a difference between wholesale and retail. So retailers directly go to procure the products directly from the wholesalers. So therefore it is a measure to change the prices from a retailer's perspective. So when I say about, see, there is a difference between CPI and WPI. So CPI is related to the retail part, and WPI is related to the wholesale index. So etu karone ami wholesale inflation to ki buli kau? Wholesale price index buli kau. That is the inflation at the level of producers, and the consumer price index is basically said to be the retail inflation. Okay, so they measures it at the retail level. So as kyon user se? Because the fight against runaway inflation is far from over. Because recently eta ami shock paisilu with tomato prices going up, and therefore we can have some form of inflation in this particular category, that is of retail inflation rate. Yet dekho ase retail inflation July kiman beshi asile, which is more than 6. You can see all over, and in the northeastern states it is basically in Manipur and Tripura. Okay, so kiman beshi hoy retail inflation to bahi goisile. So today if I see about retail inflation, 15-month high kiman hoy ase 7.44%. Very important. Okay, very important. Aru etu ketia latest data July 2023 kune uliaise National Statistical Office. Okay, তাৰ ওপৰত ইয়াতে আমাৰ কিছুমান আৰু ৰিজনছ আছিল ইনফ্লেশ্যনৰ কাৰণে। এল নিনো হৈছিল এবাৰ, এণ্ড আ মনসুন ডেফিচিট, ড্ৰাই সিজন বেছি হৈছিল এবাৰ। ওকে, সো ইউ কেন ৰাইট ইন দ্য কমেণ্ট সেকশন এল নিনো মানে হয় কি, আৰু এটা মোক কথা লিখি দিবা যে এল নিনো আহিলে আমাৰ ইণ্ডিয়াত বাৰিষা হয় বেছি হয় নে বাৰিষা কম হয়। সো ইউ প্লিজ ৰাইট দিছ থিংছ ইন দ্য কমেণ্ট সেকশন। সো ইয়াতে এল নিনো অহাৰ কাৰণে অবভিয়াছলি উই হেভ seen that the atmosphere or the pressure which needs to be created is not formed, and therefore the impact of rainfall is too less as compared to the other times. Or tar karone inflation to bahi goisile. So therefore today when we need to use and consider an inflation rate, we have to consider the retail inflation, which is directly measured under the consumer price index. Okay, so ekhini bostu amar thakile with respective to this CPI, that is the consumer price index, আৰু যেটো আমি retail inflation বুলিও কোৱা যায়। Okay, so therefore you need to know about that what are the steps which has been taken even by the Reserve Bank of India to control this form of inflation. তো তো আজি তেনেকুৱা বহুতখিনি ইনফ্লেশনস কন্ট্ৰোল কৰিবলৈ ৰিজাৰ্ভ বেংক অফ ইণ্ডিয়া কিছুমান lending rates বঢ়াই দিছে so as to control this form of inflation. And even the Monetary Policy Committee of the Reserve Bank of India hiked the key policy repo rates through which they directly go and control the retail inflation. Okay, so hetu bostue we have to see that how we need to tackle this retail inflation so that in the coming times we could directly protect the inflation rates in our country. Okay, so yata mo questions dia ase ebar sai loba. Coming to the next one, lymphatic filariasis. So ami janu recently etia amar eta news asile kihor karone because the Union Health Ministry recently said that ami lymphatic filariasis by 2027 hek kori pelam. Okay, that's a global target by around 3 years. So it is very important. Hudibo pare ketiba. So lymphatic filariasis ketiba dekhisa sage e bhori khon directly dangor hoi jay. Aru even ketiba ami elephantiasis buliu koi jay because enuka type of bhori obviously hatire thake. Okay, so lymphatic filariasis we all know it's a grave threat in India, and you can directly say that according to our country's estimate 650 million Indians across the states and union territories are at risk of lymphatic filariasis. Okay, aru jodi moi aji overall in world or kotha ko e gute world khonot 40% to lymphatic filariasis or patients khali India re paba. Okay, so this is so much prevalent in our country, and we all know that this lymphatic filariasis is a vector-borne disease which is caused by infection with parasite which is known as nematodes. Aru nematodes bilakok ami ki buli ko also we can tell it to be the roundworms buli koa jay. Okay, and we all know that there are 3 types of thread-like filarial worms which causes this lymphatic filariasis. Okay, 3 types of worms ase. Hey tinta worms ki hoy? Ucheriria bancrofti, Brugia malayi and Brugia timori. Very important. A2 jitu ami dekhilu Ucheriria bancrofti, it is responsible for 90% of the cases. Very important. Jitu ami dekhilu Brugia malayi which cause most of the remainder of the cases, or Brugia timori which also cause these diseases, but it is very much lesser. Main kuntu A2. Tar pisot jodi kisuman 10% case thake, kobat 8-9% case thake, A2 hoy second to, aru kobat 1% ami dekhu Brugia timori. Okay, so therefore we have to see about this particular disease getting transmitted via mosquitoes which are infected by this microfilariae, and by ingesting blood when biting an infected host it directly transfer on to the respective body. So aji globally tenuka bahut khini ami initiatives loisu jibilak symptoms edi ami dekha pau je filariasis hoi ase. Okay, so you can see that about 2 in every 3 people with lymphatic don't have severe symptoms, but filariasis usually leads to a weakened immune system. Aru kisumane inflammation hoy, kisumane tat lymphedema hoy, kisumane hydrocele hoy, edema hoy. Edema mane ki hoy? Phuli joatu. So okay, etu edema buli koa jay ami. Okay, so treatment obviously chemotherapy kotha ase, mass drug administration kotha ase jinto WHO recommend korise. Okay, so aji jodi moi WHO or new roadmap or kotha ko to 2021 sonote eta roadmap start korisile until 2030. So etur underote India as 2027 not eliminate korim boli koisile. Okay, so therefore the global program to eliminate this lymphatic filariasis established by the WHO by assimilating them with the mass drug administration, and also the target to eliminate this number of diseases is on the practice. So hetu antagote aji India yo ei prantulole je India committed to eliminate this lymphatic filariasis by 2027. Okay, so hetu karone news or asile. So this is Mansukha Mandivya, our Union Health Minister. Chalo, question diya ase sai loba. So again I want to just tell you we have got an interview guidance program led by this number of panelists. Okay, for the people who have appeared for APSC mains this time. Also we'll be going with live session both for Robin Kolta sir as well as Anil Swarup sir on the dates 25th August as well as 10th September. So you can note down these dates for your wonderful time period with this eminent peoples. Next here 3D printed post office. So it ami recently gom paisu kot khulise Karnataka. কৰ্ণাটকাত এটা গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট ওন ৰিসেন্টলি 3D প্ৰিন্টেড পোষ্ট অফিচ এটা খুলিছে মিন্স আ বিল্ডিং তো আমি 3D প্ৰিন্টিং বুলি ক'লে কি বুজো it basically uses computer aided designs to create three-dimensional projects through a layering method okay এটাৰ ওপৰত এটা দি যাব এনেকে ঢালাই দি যাব এনেকে 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 দি যাব এটাৰ ওপৰত এটা এনেকে এনেকে ঢালাই দি যায় and in this 3D printing a 3D printer makes a three-dimensional object from a computer aided design CAD যিবিলাক engineering students তেখেতসকলে জানে CAD মানে কি হয় so the creation of a 3D printed object is achieved using some additive process and each of these layers can be seen as a thinly sliced cross section of the object so a typical 3D printer is very much like an inkjet printer operated from a computer যেটো আমি দেখো okay and what kind of ink does it give see where an inkjet printer sprays liquid ink and a laser printer uses solid powder it is a basic difference হয় solid powder use করে okay so we should see that 3D printer এ একো ইউজ নকৰে না লিকুইড ইঙ্ক করে না সলিড পাউডার করে সলিড পাউডার কোনে করে লেজার প্রিন্টারে করে আর ইঙ্কজেটে কি করে ইঙ্ক করে 3D প্রিন্টারে একো নকরে but the 3D printer deposits layers of molten plastic or powder and fuses them together okay আর যেটো most common 3D printing raw materials হয় সেগুলা কি হয় something ABS that is the acrylonitrile butadiene sintering PLA polylactic acid and PETG polyethylene terephthalate glycol modified so এইবিলাক বস্তু ইউজ কৰে কোনে this particular 3D printers ইয়াত লিখা আছে PLA okay polylactic acid এটো কমন হয় সবতকে কমন হয় আৰু ইয়াত প্ৰসেসটো এটো চোৱা CAD ফাইলত হ'ব তাৰপিছত ইয়াতে এটা ফৰমেটত ৰিলিজ কৰা যাব তাৰপিছত এনেকুৱা টিপ টাইপৰ এনেকুৱা এটা নজল টাইপৰ এটা বস্তু থাকিব এটো লেয়াৰ ওপৰত লেয়াৰ বনাই এনেকুৱা টাইপৰ এটা ফাইনাল ষ্ট্ৰাকচাৰ বনাই পেলাই this is basically the process of 3D printing okay so it's a very useful process আৰু এটোৰ এডভান্টেজ বহুত আছে faster production হয় better quality products great for design and product testing cost effective হয় environment friendly হয় advanced healthcare হয় আজি যদি মই এনেকুৱা এটা জায়গাত মই এটা বিল্ডিং বনাব লাগে বা এনেকুৱা এটা জায়গাত মই এটা এপাৰ্টমেন্ট বনাব লাগে যত ৰ মেটেৰিয়েলছ লৈ যোৱাটো বহুত কষ্ট সেইবিলাকত 3D প্ৰিন্টিং বহুত বেসিক্যালি ইজিলি আমাক কামত আহিব ওকে ঠিক আছে মই জানো যে ইয়াৰ ডিসএডভান্টেজেস বহুত আছে সাপোজলি ইয়াতে ৰিডাকশন ইন ম্যানুফ্যাকচাৰিং জবস হ'ব লিমিটেড মেটেৰিয়েলছ 3D মেটেৰিয়েলছ গিটা পোৱাটো ইমান সহজ কথা নহয় লিমিটেড মেটেৰিয়েলছ ওকে আৰু ৰেস্ট্ৰিক্টেড বিল সাইজ আজিনো মই কিমান ডাঙৰ বস্তুটা বনাই পেলাম এটোৱে চোৱা মইটো এপাৰ্টমেন্ট ইমান ডাঙৰ এপাৰ্টমেন্ট নহয় okay 10 তলা 11 তলা 12 তলা it's basically a small area small building so obviously yate bill size to কমি যায় okay design inaccuracies কেতিয়াবা কিছুমান আমি যেহেতু কোডিং ত যাও প্ৰগ্ৰামিং ত যাও কেতিয়াবা কিছুমান inaccuracies আহি যাব তাৰ কাৰণে আমাৰ দিগদাৰ হয় so হেতু কাৰণে 3D printing has the potential even to democratize the production of goods from goods to medical supplies to even protecting the environment because it is very much environment friendly though in 3D printing machines could make their way into homes businesses disaster sites lagibo but all in all this emerging technology has the potential to revolutionize our societies and transform the development sector so it recently যেহেতু এটো 43 days বনোৱা গৈছিল so এখানে 3D printing to বহুত নিউজৰ আছে please do note this one that is 3D printing okay chalo Tamil Nadu calls for retrieving Katchatheevu. Okay, so Katchatheevu dispute, we all know that there is a dispute in the region of Palk Bay, Ekini area. This is a Katchatheevu island. Eto Mannar Island, Sri Lanka. Eto amar Rameshwaram. Okay, so it is no more than 1.6 kilometer in length and slightly over 300 meter wide at its broadest point. Okay, but we have seen that this region was actually India's. But by a 1974 agreement, this region was given and gifted to Sri Lanka by that time Prime Minister. Okay, and therefore from this period of time, there was directly a conflict. The conflict being the fish depletion, fishermen issue, frequent arrest and killings. So, এইবিলাক কিছুমান disputes আৰম্ভ হৈছিল. So, এতিয়া যেহেতু তামিলনাডু Chief Minister recently ক'লে MK Stalin that এই Katchatheevu island to যদি আমি वापस পাই যাও তেতিয়াহে আমাৰ এই ফিশাৰমেনৰ প্ৰবলেমটো সলভ হ'ব because today আমাৰ এক্সক্লুসিভ ইকনমিক জোন ইমান মানতে শেষ হৈ যায় Okay, so etia jehetu bahut khinie mane je Katchatheevu island khon amar nijore, the persons who were basically fishing on this particular area. So তেখেতসকলে কি কৈ যায়, তেখেতসকলে এনেকে গৈ পেলাই এই কাচ্চাথিবু আইলেণ্ডৰ ওচৰত ফিশিং খিনি কৰিবলৈ যায়। আৰু যেতিয়া ফিশিং কৰিবলৈ যায়, obviously since it is not in our exclusive economic zone, শ্ৰীলংকান নেভিয়ে ধৰি লয় আৰু জেলত থৈ দিয়ে। সো এটো কাৰণে বহুতখিনি ডিসপিউট হৈছে এতিয়া ৰিসেন্টলি কাচ্চাথিবু লৈ পেলাই। সো এতিয়া সেইকাৰণে ৰিসেন্টলি ক'লে MK Stalin, Tamil Chief Minister, যে কাচ্চাথিবু আইলেণ্ডখন বাপস ল'ব লাগে, since it is basically an important and integral part of Tamil Nadu before 1974. Okay, so এটো এটা ট্ৰিটি হৈ গৈছিলে। Okay, tar pora issues arambho hoi gol. Okay, so we can see historically it's a part of Ramanand's territory. Sri Lanka started claiming it owing to a strategic location around 1974 to Diagol aru etia jehetu issues hoi ase to tar karone etu debate aku arambho hoise. Okay, so that is basically so India's stand ki hoy. So Indian government argued that since the island had always been under dispute, no territory belonging to India was ceded nor sovereignty relinquished. And according to the agreement, the island lies on the Sri Lankan side of the Indian Sri Lanka International Maritime Boundary Line. And therefore, the government has raised the issue at the highest political level with Sri Lanka, and the matter is still pending in the Supreme Court of India. So, etu eta India standard. So, etu janatu bahut kini important hoy. Okay. So, eta model question dia ase mon. Okay, coming to this one, extreme weather events in Himalayas. So, recently ami dekhisu view on Himachal Pradesh strategy a slippery slope. So, aji the large toll taken by the cloudburst and landslides. Aji cloudburst aru landslides imane beshi hoise because of the fragility of this particular area. Okay, so আজি দেখিছো যে these things are basically happening because of various developmental projects and also because of various forms of anthropogenic regions. So আজি মই অকল anthropogenic বুলিও নকওঁ, some of the extreme weather events, also soil and water degradation, decline in natural springs, increasing landslides are some of the causes why this region is very much hostile towards the extreme nature events. We all know that this Himalaya is a very fragile mountain range that is still rising, and we all know that the Indian plate continues to push the Asian plate. So these mountains are mainly the shell upwelling of the sea, which makes them quite unstable, and in fact they are largely held together by forests that they support. Even at some 1 year ago, we have got a crisis which is known as Joshimath crisis, which is basically in a very unstable region created largely from glacial moraine rock and shale in a rift valley, and it is basically on the seismic zone. So today we have got problems in the Joshimath, we have got problems in the Char Dham sites, that is the Yamunotri, Gangotri, Badrinath and Kedarnath. Tateo problem dekha goise amar. Also India also appears to be competing with China to build the high altitude railways. So এইবিলাকৰ কাৰণে আজি আমি impact বোৰ বহুত বেছি দেখাৰ কাৰণে, since these fragile mountains are still some of the young mountain ranges, so এতিয়ালৈকে stability আহাই নাই, তাৰ কাৰণে আমি এই cloud burst ৰ নিচিনা বস্তু বা landslides ৰ নিচিনা বস্তু আমি বহুত বেছিকে দেখো, which is a cause of worry for us today. So therefore today, in my opinion, I have to say that in Indian Himalaya has also to be declared as an inviolate protected zone, and also to be said to be a planet reserve, similar to the declaration of Amazon Basin as a strictly protected zone. So amar even hotspot region no pore ta, so etu eta protected region nobonale, obviously it would have been very difficult for us to even conserve this particular area. Okay, so obviously yate moi eta question hudim tumalkor je how many Himalayan states do India have? Himalayan states India kekhon ase muk comment section ot koa. So yate gotekhini bostu liya ase. Okay, so you can see the region of Himachal Pradesh, that is the vulnerability map, very high, high and moderate. So jikhini upor area hoy tate obviously very high vulnerability hoi jay. Okay, question diya ase yate. Prelims text কিছুমান আছে, regional symposium Vatsal Bharat. So etu ki hoy? Recently National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights, Ministry of Women and Child Development under Vatsal Bharat korisile, aru etu mainly child protection opor asile. Symposium mane ki hoy? It's basically a conference or meeting to discuss a particular subject. Okay, aru eta participate korisil all the northeastern states child protection kane kot Kolakhetrat. BRICS summit in South Africa. So Prime Minister Modi will visit South Africa to attend 15 BRICS summits. Etiar pora August 22 pora 24 lage, আৰু এটো কোনে ক'লে Ministry of External Affairs this will be the first in person BRICS summit since 2019 covid ৰ পিছত হোৱাই নাছিল in person virtually হৈছিলে okay so when I say about BRICS মোক এটা ক'ব লাগে which bank is known as BRICS bank BRICS bank কোনটো কোৱা যায় first okay that is the first question on BRICS তাৰ ওপৰত মোক আৰু এটা ক'ব লাগে যে the acronym BRICS was initially formulated in around 2001 by an economist hey economist জন কোন হয় মোক কমেন্ট সেকশনত কোৱা okay আৰু কোৰ পৰা হয় হেতু কৰিবা hey economics জন anyways so this is our academic team this is the CNA team so the quote দিয়া গৈছে success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm okay success লাহে লাহে failure পৰা গৈ পেলে লাহে লাহে তোমালকে কি হ'ব এদিন গৈ success পাবাগৈ but failure পাই পেলে যদি enthusiasm তো নোহোৱা হৈ যায় it will be very much difficult for you to get the success কোনে কৈছিলে Winston Churchill so that is all for today from my side